Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome to your Capricorn full moon video with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. I know it's been a minute since I gave you a full moon report and a new moon report. I apologize, but it's been a bit crazy in the nation. So with that said, I will get straight into it. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my deck of cards with the forms of love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise. They help us all on our paths to our highest vibrational good. So let's get into it. On the 3rd of July, we are going to have this year's Capricorn full moon at 11 degrees. Now, a full moon, as many of you know, you've been with me long enough, right? So you kind of know how I see this stuff. But a full moon is a completion, a culmination, and an ending kind of energy. And the transit window for any major lunation, new moon, full moon, eclipse, etc., I personally see as the day before, the day of, and the day after. So the waxing full moon, the full moon, in its peak, and then the waning full moon. So I like to really home in on those 3 days because that tends to be where all the action happens around that specific event, right? So I see the full moon, if you liken the moon cycle to a pregnancy, right? And so when we get to the full moon, that is when, it's ripe and ready to be birthed out into the world. So cast your mind back to December of 2023. What were you doing at the end of December? So literally just around Christmas time. So between like the 20, let's say the 22nd to the 25th. What was happening for you at the moment? At that moment, what were the themes that you were kind of experiencing? What was being set into motion for you at that time? What was making itself important or prominent at that moment? And what were you sowing the seeds of? Because this is the corresponding full moon to that new moon that happened in the sign of Capricorn. We've got no new moon this year in the sign of Capricorn, which is interesting in and of itself. Now, a lot of people say that it's the 2 weeks after for the new moon. Like once you've had a new moon, the 2 weeks after when you have the full moon, whatever it is will show up in its results. I personally haven't had good results when using that kind of energy. So the way that I use this now is I use the corresponding full moon to the new moon that set it into motion. So it's about 6 months ish, from point to point. All right, so a full moon is a power point. This is a witch's moon. This is a manifesting moon, right? It's where Luna is at her peak and where the power in the expression of that power is at its fullest. All that's been gathered, to her energy is now spent and released out into the world in some way, shape, or form in order to become sort of manifestation once more. Now, the interesting thing about that is the cycles and the patterns. And, one day I'll make a video just about that because I think a lot of people would find it quite an interesting topic. Now, this one's light, right? So Luna is pouring her powerful light down onto Earth through the stars of Capricorn energy and shaping that power and that potential and that magic into specific themes for all of us, because it's going to hit all of us in a different house, right? And a different place of our chart. Now, the aspects that are taking place with this full moon, there's not a great deal sort of going on with it, to be fair. Not stuff that I really thought, this deserves big fanfare. It's a decent full moon. It's a manifesting full moon. I will personally be using it for lots of things. Right, so this full moon, however, is opposing Mercury. So Mercury is over in the sign of Cancer. At this point, it's literally just left its cazimi, which is, so every so often Mercury will be at the seat of the sun. And when a planet goes cazimi, some brilliant idea or some piece of knowledge or wisdom is kind of poured down on us, right? So it can be a real powerful moment of illumination, and it can be something that is communicated to us that maybe we previously missed. So some realization, maybe one that we've already had as well, will start to become public knowledge. Mercury acts as a microphone in that way. So it's going to amplify the voice or the communication of whatever it is that we have to say or whatever's being said to us. So topics that are close to our heart, Topics that are we're deeply emotionally invested in will likely be close to the surface at this time because it's all happening in Cancer. So the moon is Mercury's host because the moon obviously rules the sign of Cancer. And it's currently in the sign of Capricorn, right? So it's really interesting that sort of this interplay. Now, it's far from home in Capricorn, the driest sign effectively, but it is empowering us to speak on, to defend, and to have responsibility for saying and caring about actually whatever it is that we truly care enough about to stand up for. So this could be a women's issue, specifically around women and young women and or girls. It might also be something to do with housing and homes, and it's potentially going to see an exacerbation of those things in the news or on the wider world stage. Now, it's in a trine to Mercury, so at the time of like the full peak of the full moon, it is past, but it's still there. So, anytime we get a trine to Jupiter, I'm going to take it, okay? So the moon is trying to her greatest love or asset. I don't know about love, because many would argue it's the sun. They are celestial mum and dad after all. But Jupiter and the moon are great bedfellows, right? So Zeus, Jupiter, Selene, the moon, not only do they make beautiful magic together, they also create beautiful things. Taurus is where Jupiter is at the moment, is the energy of luxury, finery, earthly and material pleasures and presents, and the moon loves those things anyway, right? Jupiter's in a sign that the moon absolutely loves to be in, its most exalted sign actually, and it's adding power to this moon at a degree of like 4-degree orb. Luna's getting a really powerful boost of amplifying and expansive kind of energy, which is great. So this might help us tap into our personal power a bit more, power of belief and our abilities to bring cohesion and clarity to financial matters, material matters, or even health matters. Very possible. There's a potential for healing and tangible results here, but they kind of rely on integrity, heart, and also lightness. Jupiter brings a levity and a lightness and an expansion to everything it touches, right? Jupiter, the sky god, brings a breath of fresh air, but also an ability to breathe life into something. Now, even though this is a trine through Earth, Luna is a watery energy, and Jupiter is expansive, light-hearted, spiritual, and watery, boundless energy. It's not dense Earth energy is what I'm trying to say here. This is growthful Earth energy. So, we can tap into this in some kind of great way. Mars conjunct Venus in the sign of Leo at this time. So the celestial lovers, Mars and Venus, are coupled together in the sign of Leo before they part, and then Mars goes off into to Virgo. This is a powerful energy of magnetism, sexuality, sensuality, and ability to attract what we desire in our lives through that magnetism, through our charisma, through our, maybe even the energy of diplomacy. This is the ability to drive something like never before. The reason Lewis Hamilton is so good at what he does, right, is because he's technically gifted and he's ballsy. That's the Martian energy, and he makes it look easy, effortless, and he knows how to speak. That's the Venus energy, right? So its talents are talents of an innate nature are going to be amplified at this time, and whatever it needs to be done, we can do, but we can have fun doing it. And then finally, Mars and Venus are going to square Uranus. So this Mars, it's like the only square to Uranus this year. However, it is Venus's first one. And for that reason, Venus square Uranus is surprising and shocking energies when it comes to love, relationships, and partnerships, and potentially big demonstrations of love. Now, I got to be honest, because it is the square to Venus and is the square between Uranus and Venus, if you have surprises planned for your significant other, etc., or even in your professional life, etc., it may not go according to plan. So just keep that in mind. It's surprising and potentially bold and wild over-the-top actions or performative demonstrations when it comes to love, out and, you know, potentially even out of the blue proposals as well. You know, someone could just like literally spring it on another person and they're like, oh my gosh, where's this coming from? No. It's possible that it creates a dynamic tension around resources. That could be financial, but it could also be machinery and utensils. All right, so let's get into the breakdown for the signs. Aries, so you want to check these from your ascendant sign first, and then your sun and your moon. They're still going to be relevant, but maybe not as much on that day-to-day level. So remember, I'm always using Western tropical whole sign astrology, just so you know which one I'm using. So for Aries, this is happening in your 10th house, the most visible part of your chart, the most visible aspect of you, right? So a full moon in the 10th house is a realization and acquisition of something in your career. This could be the crowning glory. It could be the cherry on top in some way. This is about your status and your legacy in the world, and something about your career could be coming up to or coming into a big change point. The full moon at the top of this place is truly a power point of focus for you, and it makes you super visible, right? This full moon as well is giving you, it's giving you maybe like an ability to highlight something about yourself that you feel really happy or good about. Now, the moon is your 4th house ruler, so there could be a lot of conversations around home, potentially getting somewhat loud. You might have something that you feel needs to be said and won't sort of let anyone be, you know, you won't leave it alone until you've said what you need to say, basically. Jupiter in your 2nd house is lending supportive energy, expansive energy to your finances. It means that you can ask for a raise at work or even raise your prices if you've got your own business. But you have to do, like, whether this is asking for a raise, whether it's, you know, going through the motions with your business, etc., you have to demonstrate why it is that you should get this and what it is that you're offering that, you know, that is invaluable effectively. Now, Venus and Mars in that 5th house, this is your speculative endeavors and pleasure. It really is, it's a perfect time for you to go after what you want and magnetically draw things to you. Don't be afraid to take a calculated risk because it's absolutely going to pay off. Now, as the 2nd house rules money and relationship houses, this could also be news about financial or partnership monies. So it'll be interesting to see what comes up there for you. So for you guys, your card for this full moon is the Strength card, right? That Strength card represents Leo energy, and Leo is where Venus and Mars are. That is your ticket through, right? Your Mars is your ruling energy, and it's in that 5th house. If you have fun with what you do and you really trust that you can deliver, then there's no reason, you know, you can't find the guts and the courage to ask for what it is that you finally feel like you're worth. Taurus, for you guys, this is a full moon in your 9th house. This is a manifesting full moon in a fellow earth sign in harmony with Jupiter in your 1st house. This is a time to make a wish, right? If ever there was someone out of this time that could make a wish, it's you and Capricorn, right? Capricorn because it's their full moon, but you because it's in the 9th house. This is, if you focus on something that you truly want and you deeply have that rooted, powerful faith and belief, and you pour your heart into it and let go and let God, this full moon can absolutely manifest something into your world that you truly want and desire for yourself. This could be really wonderful for you. That 9th house, remember, is higher education. It's how you reach the world, broadcasting, publishing, you know, YouTube, books, blogs, all of that kind of stuff is 9th house, as well as travel and international foreign affairs, right? Now, the full moon, opposing Mercury in your 3rd house of communications. But 3rd house isn't just communications, it's also contracts and meetings. So there's a chance here that something that you feel really passionate about or desire really strongly comes up, and it requires your input to do some kind of mental gymnastics around the paperwork side of things, right? So this is effectively what I'm saying here is, if you want to get something signed, inked as like a deal or whatever, put your heart to the side for a moment. All right. Venus, your ruling planet, is aligned with her celestial lover, Mars, and the two are cooking up a storm in your home sector. This means that you're possibly having a boost of welcome resources coming into the home, but it's also likely that a partnership of some kind is being highlighted. Be mindful of changing pace too quickly to allow somebody else to follow. All right. So if you're anything where you're doing this in tandem or with others, give them time to get to your level. For you guys, look at that. You got the 10 of Cups, right? Beautiful. This is effectively the happy home, windfalls and or blessings of some kind coming in, the happy home, the happy family. This is like a tens across the board. So this energy is beautiful for you. And I really like, if the 9 of Cups was a wish fulfilled, the 10 of Cups is a wish fulfilled that's so abundant that you can actually share it with others. What more do you want? All right. For Gemini, this for you is happening for you guys in the 8th house, right? So this is an 8th house full moon. And I feel like for a lot of you, this is the cementing of some kind of healing that takes place in like a part of you, like it's like the deepest part of yourself. This could be around sex and sensuality. It could be around your deeps, like it could also, yeah, be a deep psychological closing of a chakra wound, right? So this is powerful because it's like your total healing. And when you're healing in totality, you elevate. And when you become much more powerful, when you become more healed than ever, you become much more powerful than ever. This is allowing you to tap into your spiritual and occult powers at a greater depth. And it's allowing you to see some version of yourself that you know you can be. Now, Jupiter in your 12th house, because it's in Taurus, which is your 12th house, that's true guardian angel providing spiritual support. And for this, it's allowing a deep well of wisdom, power, and magic. Maybe that hasn't, maybe that's gone untapped until this point. So all the light, fluffy stuff, the Sun and Mercury are opposing. Sorry, the Moon and Mercury are opposing at this moment in time, and this is highlighting your own finances and resources in some way. This whole moon for you has a financial slant to it because because of the opposition between the Sun and the Moon. So it's like once you become whole, your material wealth will explode. And it's like, I can hear a lot of you asking, well, how do I claim this, Raf? By speaking your truth around your deepest desires, both financially and sexually. All right. It's like by owning both of those aspects of self, you will see your finances really start to do some stuff. Finally, Mars and Venus are in your 3rd house and they're ramping up communications, and your words are liquid fire right now. So you can charm the birds from the trees anyway. You guys have that natural gift of the gab, but right now you have the ability to speak your dreams into life. Do not waste it. Be very diligent with how you use your words right now as well, because this is true manifesting energies, and you'll find that what you're speaking is coming up very quickly. Of course you do. For this, you have the Tower card. So this actually for you guys could be a powerful, almost like a ground-shattering realization. And once you have it, you're like, well, holy fuck, I didn't know that, right? And this will be something that you learn about yourself, because this is an 8th house full moon. This is like shining a bright light into one of your into your underwear drawer. In some way, shape, or form. So for the Cancers among you, this is happening all the way across the sky in your 7th house. What you do, what you love enough to be brutally honest with or about, you are the ultimate nurturer. Even the guys amongst the Cancerian, people that have strong Cancer placements, are naturally very intuitive, very caring, and your power is that of the knowledge of bodily knowing, right? Like you feel it in the gut. When a Cancer tells you they feel it in the gut, pay attention. If you're a cross watcher, whether it's a man or a woman, however this person identifies, if a Cancer tells you they feel something in their gut, listen to what they're saying. This moon is in the house of your partnerships, connections, collaborations, and even your competitors. This could like shine a light on your competition, and it could show you how to do something even better. It could see you highlighting a relationship in, in your life that maybe needs attention. The sun is lighting you up at the moment, and Mercury is giving you a voice that's as clear as a bell, right? So what you're speaking is really able to be heard. Your words have the power to dispel even the darkest challenges at this moment in time, and I don't say that lightly. But it relies on you speaking your truth. And as Mercury rules your 12th house and your 4th house, this might be about your heritage and your familial ties. This is giving rise to words and things and how things are going to will be from now on. This is you kind of setting that tone or that energy. It may as well, for a select few of you, introduce you to a part. See that you're introducing a partner to your family. Now, Mars and Venus are in your 2nd house of money, finances, and resources, and they're bringing you the power to enhance your financial experience, but it will require you getting really serious about how you use your money and where you put your resources. It might also see you connecting to a benefactor of some sort that really wants to assist you financially. Maybe sees you connecting with somebody that but it's almost like in order to give you whatever blessings they can, they're going to need to see a level of commitment from you to start with, right? So it might feel a bit like, oh, I have to perform before I get the goodies. Where you are aligned with the right connections and where you're not is going to be highlighted. It will be plainly obvious at this time, and then action will be required on that. No pressure. For this, you have the Knight of Pentacles. This is basically to say, just like Capricorn energy, this isn't a quick fix. If you're looking for that quick hit financial sort of blessing that comes through other people or partners, it's not that. This is slow, steady, sustained effort that takes time, but gives all of its goodies and pleasures over time as well. Be in it for the long haul is the message here. Leo, my ascendant brothers and sisters, for you guys, this is, let's start with the Venus and Mars, right? So Venus and Mars are both in your sign. They are the rulers of your 3rd and your 10th house, your 4th and your 9th house, right? And all of this is in your 1st house. This gives you tremendous power right now and huge staying power as well. It also heightens your charisma, as if you need any help with that. You are on fire, like quite literally at this point. It could also be, excuse me, this is like a phoenix moment. If you're a Leo, especially a Leo ascendant to a lesser degree, but still very relevant as sun and the moon, this is your phoenix moment. This is where you start to feel yourself rising out of the ashes and being born anew. You are in a magical space right now, and this full moon is shining a light on your 6th house. Where you have put effort and grind into your daily grind, and you've delayed your own gratification, and where you've worked really hard, this is where you are going to get the results. This is where you get the payout or the payoff. This could be physically, it could be in terms of your work and your job. It could also be as well, something is helping you clean up your diet, your body, your mind, and even your work life. So all of the areas of life really that you need to focus on are being powerfully highlighted here. This is overcoming challenges by speaking about what really holds you back. The Sun and Mercury in the 12th house opposing the moon in the 6th house. This is helping you understand your hang-ups, your self-sabotaging tendencies, to the point where you might say to yourself, like, you know what? I feel ready to share this part of my story now. This is a powerful and cathartic energy, and it's magical, especially because Mercury rules your 11th house and your 2nd house. So there could be financial blessings in it for you. But the more, it's like in terms of clearing the shit and cleansing your soul, and that allows you to unlock or access the next level of money or resources for yourself, right? It means that like there's less limiting stuff to stop you from, making the money that you deserve effectively. For this, you you have the Star card, right? You're getting a glimpse into your future, how wonderful it can truly be. You're getting just a little amuse-bouche, right? You're getting a little taste here where you can kind of just get that flavoring of, okay, this is where this is all taking me. It's not all showing up now, but you are getting a good taste that's going to make you say to yourself, you know what? I like this and I want more of it. So for Virgo, a full moon in the fifth house, it's time for a party, baby. This is a great time for a get together, a hot date, maybe even a moment of fun and enjoyment. The fifth house is also your business endeavors, and this is like where business becomes fun. The fifth house is your children, if you have them. This could be some kind of revelation when it comes to your children. Maybe it just highlights that you're ready to spend more time with them, or for some of you, maybe some good news surfaces about a child, or maybe you decide that it's time for you to have children, to start a family. It's a moment of pure joy around hobbies or creative ideas and endeavors. And even though Mercury conjunct the Sun is urging you to talk about something that you feel really deeply about in your friendship and your connections, Mercury is your ruling planet. And so it's really helping you articulate what you feel really deeply about on that emotional level. This could be anything from like a social media outpouring. Be careful in that regard, because once it's once it's out there, it's out there, right? It could also go right through to people, like a gathering of people that gets really emotional and cements like even stronger bonds. So maybe you have a get together with friends, or a group, or maybe you throw a party and there's people there that you're really close to, and it gets a little bit emotional, but in the best way, and it really cements those bonds and those ties. It could also be that you're working on something that you're getting ready to share with the world. So this is something you're doing behind the scenes. You could find this both fun and freeing in some way, and it might feel like a spiritual release that shows you who you really resonate with. Jupiter in that ninth house is a gorgeous energy for you. It's really supporting this moon nicely, and from the ninth house where Jupiter already does good work. There's a chance that this could come through travel, maybe even tribal connections that you learn something at a soul level about or with. So this could be a really illuminating full moon for you guys in particular. All right, so Libra, for you guys, this is happening in your fourth house. Oh, I almost forgot, actually. I hadn't pulled a card for Virgo. You have the Two of Wands, right? So this is beautiful because it basically says this is giving you a chance to really step forward with the things that you feel excited and passionate about. This full moon is really helping you tap into potentially a new level of abundance, but it's going to see you interacting with and connecting with people that have an air of affluence about them and could, quite frankly, enhance your lifescape in that way. But it's like, rather than it being just about like, oh, these people can help me make more money, it's like a genuine connection where you think, you know what, actually, these people feel like good friends. So I love this, right? So for Libra, this full moon is happening for you guys in your fourth house of home, family, property, and real estate. This for you guys, this is possibly a culmination of something that has been building in the family sector for quite some time. And it's quite an emotional space in the chart. So it might be a little bit more intense for you than maybe some of the others. It could be really powerful conversations with family members at this time that help you understand how family and home have played a big part in sort of holding you back in some way. And that's not to say that it's just a negative thing. This could actually be very cathartic in a way, because once you see it, you can kind of say, okay, I can put a name to that now, understand it, and draw a line under it. It might also be that by voicing these concerns and these truths, you set yourself free from the trappings, but you also find yourself able to move forward because of it. Jupiter is supporting that moon nicely, and it allows you for some deep truths to bring a healing energy to the connections that you have with family and possibly with siblings as well, especially where you might feel like a sibling has always kind of been favored over you. If you've ever had that feeling, or it's been like a real phenomenon, and lots of people say like, oh, I treat my kids totally the same. And yes, I'm sure they think they do in their minds, but it's not always true, right? Mars and Venus in your 11th house of friendships and gains means that you could be attracting people who see your potential, but they also want to help and support you and your creative skills and ideas. I think for a lot of you, this will be like a moment of healing and cleansing if you let it. Otherwise, it's likely to just be the same old, and the intensity will kind of get the most of it. So you have to be really conscious around this one. I think you guys more than anybody else. Maybe save Gemini. For this, you have the Eight of Swords. This is such an interesting card for you to get, right? Because it's that constriction confinement energy. And I've talked about releasing yourself from trappings, etc. And this makes perfect sense to me. And, in one of the writings on this card, it says if this person really wanted to, they could navigate forward out of these swords. It's just that they're kind of choosing to, not to really acknowledge that. This is really about tapping into that ability to go beyond what your current circumstances are. Scorpio, for you guys, this is happening in your third house. A full moon in the third house is a nice one, especially because the moon, Luna, exalts in the third house. She does good work here. She likes to be in the third house. It's a busy, local, moving, and embodied house. This is a travel house as well, especially in like the local area, local neighborhood, etc. So connections in that space could be highlighted. It may be connections or get-togethers with siblings, neighbors, or just mates. This is also a good time to consider a full moon party. I think for you and Virgo, this is party moon energy. Like you could have a lot of fun here, right? It could also highlight meetings, gatherings, and get-togethers in some way. So why not use it? Now, with the connection to Jupiter in your seventh house, a partner or collaborator, or maybe even just like a really good friend, could be providing you exactly what you need to turn skills, ideas, and into work, and create creative ideas into money. It could be a very lucrative opportunity that is also a lot of fun, especially if you're willing to bring like a personal touch to it. So it's fair to say as well that, you might get into some very deep and meaningful conversations under this full moon with friends and family, clients, students, significant other, right? There's also a chance that you could come into contact with someone who's very different from you, but opens your mind and helps you understand something at a soul level. And then you end up becoming really great friends because of it. I actually really like this for that, like making like the forging of a friendship or a connection that you don't expect to make. And you're just like, there's no way I haven't crossed paths with this person for a reason. So for your card, you have the Seven of Wands. So I don't think this is a battle card. I think more than anything, it's trying to highlight to you that you already have what you need. And if you fight for the things that you've already got and you put your energy into those rather than looking in, new spaces and places, it kind of basically says fight for the right connections and they will pay you back in all kinds of dividends or ways, right? Sagittarius, a full moon in the second house is a chance to get a clear, serious look at your finances. And the Sun and Mercury in your eighth house, this is a moment of pure honesty when it comes to how you admit, if you admit how you feel about your money, how you feel about your finances, right? And the more honest you are, the more you will get out of this. It's a moment to truly observe your self-worth habits and practices. And in doing so, you really start to understand that the Sun and Mercury in Cancer are giving you the ability to really pay attention to your deeper desires and give a voice to them so that you can actually set yourself free from the deserving trap, right? Once you sort of clear that energy, I think you will be in a really powerful space. Now, what comes up here is that Jupiter in your sixth house is supporting that moon very nicely. It helps you create a new routine that is fun and enjoyable. It's easy to follow and possibly even to scale up as well. Something here is allowing you to grow bigger, and it's something that you need as a Sagittarius. Now, Mars and Venus connecting in your ninth house is making you very magnetic, especially to like dignitaries, people who are in a position to help you in some way. It could be as well that you connect to legal professionals or likely to be teachers and maybe even spiritual types. I love this for international connections, especially ones that help you build your connections with or through your work. For this, you have the Nine of Cups. This is a wish fulfillment card, right? A Nine of Cups for that, connecting in your ninth house energy. I love this because it basically suggests that this full moon is going to bring something to fruition for you through your financial endeavors. Capricorn, this is your full moon, right? You get one new moon, one full moon per sign per year. There's no Capricorn new moon this year. So this is your full moon, right? This is all you get. This is your lunation for the year. So you got to make sure you do it big. It's an empowering full moon for you, and one that helps you give rise to your deepest considerations. The Sun and Mercury are in your seventh house. They're asking you to get really honest and potentially very vocal about what you think and feel when it comes to your relationships, the connections in your world right now, and how they are or not, how they are or are not fulfilling you will be very obvious at this time. And it's asking you to kind of speak on that stuff so that you have to do this from a self-centered place, right? And I don't mean like selfish, self-centered, my precious golem. I mean self-centered, right? This is about really focusing on what do I want? What do I need? You are visible. This is a spotlight on you and what you feel the world should know or see about you. Let yourself shine. Let yourself be seen. This is the essence to this full moon for you. And it's a manifesting full moon, right? It has a grounded, expansive energy and it's grounded expansion. So it's like growth at a steady pace. And the beauty of this at the moment is Saturn, your ruling planet, is now in a gorgeous sextile with Jupiter. Slow, steady, sustained growth that lasts, right? And that's been really nicely supported from Jupiter in your fifth house, which means this could be fun, creative, growthful. It could also be that you're ready to share something of yourself with the world. Mars and Venus are connecting in your eighth house, which means this could be like a very sexy time for you as well. Like, I don't know, we'll take it. Where your charisma or your joie de vivre is and your power are like palpable. So it's like you've got sex appeal, you're potentially looking to get acquainted or hitched, and this can absolutely happen for you. If you are partnered already, this is a great time for you to cozy up to and snuggle time with your partner, because you guys could absolutely have a blast. This is pack the kids off, send them to grandma's, have the weekend, just you and your significant other. It could be a great time. For this, you've got the Four of Swords. Take your time, right? That's one of the things that your sign is famous for. It knows how to delay gratification. It knows how to take time to do something, to develop it, to do it right. And what I love most about this for you is it really does suggest then that whatever you're doing here for yourself, it will last. Aquarius, my sun sign brothers and sisters, this is a 12th house full moon, sorry, a 12th house full moon. I love a 12th house full moon, right? And people always say to me like, oh, dude, you're nuts. What the hell? I love a 12th house full moon, and this is a chance to see all your shit laid bare. I jest, but at the same time, I'm deeply serious. The 12th house is like the most unconscious part of our chart. It's the hidden, it's the private, it's even like if the fourth house were behind closed doors, the 12th house is the stuff that sits at the base of your psyche that you never really share with anybody. Now, this could also, because it's a full moon, this is an illumination. So this is a revealing full moon. And in the 12th house, this could be shining a light on the dark spaces in your life, ones that are coming from within you. And it can bring healing to them, but it could just as easily be where an enemy, somebody that doesn't wish you well, somebody that has been talking shit about you or whatever, that could come to light now. It's like your enemies, because the 12th house is hidden enemies. A full moon in the 12th house gives them nowhere to hide. So pay attention to what comes up around that kind of stuff around this time, because it will be showing you what you haven't seen. Now, because Jupiter is shining its light in harmony with the full moon from the fourth house, this is both spiritual and, should I say, both of these houses are occult and spiritual houses, right? This could be an amplification of your own spiritual gifts at this time. And it's like what to do with such power, what to do with such an amplification of your psychic energies, your internal powers, your deeper sort of faculties of mind, of spirit, of emotion. Usually I say to people, shape it into something, do something with it. This time round, I want you to do something. So if you've been with me long enough, you will have heard me talk about this. Every so often, I will send energy or, good vibes or good juju, whatever you want to call it, to my future self for a moment where I'm struggling in the future and it's like, I've got no way. So you know what? I'll send you this good energy, Raf. And so, at that moment you're having a challenge, there will be someone or something that comes through for you to help you out of that spot. This time round, I want you to keep it. I want you to store it within yourself, right? So I've given you one way you can do this, but this time around, I want you to store it within yourself, especially because the Sun and Mercury are now in your 6th house, which is also a house of enemies. This means that this full moon is very likely to reveal an enemy or a frenemy to you. I wouldn't be surprised, right? It will show you everything that you need to see around this time. And Mercury being a microphone, your voice is the most powerful thing that you have right now. So my best advice to you would be use it, speak up, stand up for yourself, but also speak life and power into your dreams while you're channeling into your dreams, into your health, into your body, into your work, while you're channeling that energy from, the other. This could also be a time of reaping rewards and claiming rewards, because the 12th house is a karma house, right? So all the good things that you've put out into the universe, this could be a time to collect those as well. Call on every spiritual power you have at your disposal and work it, especially when it comes to personal connections. Finally, Mars and Venus are in your 7th house, helping you attract a partner or a lover that truly gets you. That, and somebody that can really help you get ahead as well, potentially, if it's not on a romantic level. You're pulling energy in through partnerships and connections right now, so don't go it alone. But do be selective about who you are aligning yourself with and who makes the cut. You have the Death card, right? So the full moon is an ending, completion, culmination. The Death card is an ending, completion, culmination, or a transformation. This is a full moon in the 12th house, which is the house of endings and completions and culminations. So this basically says there's going to be an end of a situation that's been a challenge or been difficult. It is also potentially here as well that something comes to light, and when it does, maybe a frenemy, maybe someone that, do you know what I mean? Like something or someone is revealed for who they actually are, and it sees you draw a very clear line underneath that connection. Pisces, last but never least, my darling Pisces, this for you is happening in your 11th house. In the 11th house, we find group associations, friendships, your social media presence. This could potentially, for you guys, bring the end of a friendship or a group association, because it is a full moon. It doesn't have to be explosive. It could just be you breaking ties with someone on a platonic level, maybe because you're leaving. It could be that a friend or a co-worker is sort of leaving the company. That's one way that it could show up. It also suggests you could be putting a spotlight on what a friend wants from you, and especially if they want to be more than friends. It's possible that this will require some very serious conversation and maybe a deep heart-to-heart conversation that comes through, especially because the Sun and Mercury are in the 5th house. So you could be really talking about, okay, you know what, we've been friends forever. I really like you. I want to date you. I don't want to ruin our friendship. What can we do about this? Like maybe someone's declaring their feels for you as well. I feel like that part of this is quite I feel like it's going to be quite prominent for a lot of you. Jupiter, your ancient ruling planet, is supporting the moon from the 3rd house. So it means that friendship connections or even local connections could yield job opportunities, or maybe the oomph that you need in order to excel in your career in some way. As the ruler of your 10th house, this could be a pivotal time. Jupiter in your 3rd house is really helping you out. It's helping you get interviews, it's helping you get noticed. It's also a potential as well. You're getting seen by the right people. I will also say as well, Mars and Venus are helping you make money, but there's also more work, right? So it's like you're having to do, you're earning more money, but you're also having to work more. Uranus is basically reminding you that in order to succeed in your work and your finances and your business, you're going to need to shake up those daily routines, something that's being asked for you or of you in order for you to get ahead. You got to change it up, right? You are the mutable water sign, so nobody does change better than you guys, not even Aquarius, okay? Sorry, I got itchy eye. And then lastly, the sun is working really nicely with Saturn in your sign. And this provides you with the right stabilizing energy that you need to get pleasure from what you do when it comes to building yourself up and maybe turning yourself into the best version of you that you want to be. It's a slow, steady and sustained sort of energy. And this is the first one that you've had while Saturn is in your sign. You'll get one more pass of Saturn connecting to the sun in this way, because Saturn takes 2.5 years actually to move through a sign. So it'll be interesting to see what's going on around this time in the year that follows. And for this, you've got the Three of Pentacles. This is a work card. It's a learning card. There is going to be so much knowledge, information, advice coming to you at this time. You're gathering so much information. You're also potentially taking on new skills here. This could be that you're connecting to new groups, new social groups, or it's highlighted to you where you could actually end up being the person that heads a group in some way, shape, or form. So all in all, not a bad full moon for all of us. I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Let me know in the comments. Do you love it? What does this full moon say to you? How are you feeling about it? Take care and have a fantastic full moon, and I will see you very soon.